Hey there YouTube, welcome to Big Mike Beard Wisdom. So today we'll be looking at the tomato plants again, and basically there's a little bit of trimming we're going to do, and we're also going to start tackling maybe some like fungus stuff, or trying to look to prevent it using this liquid fungicide from Bonide. And then this stuff's kind of cool because it's still rated for like organic gardening, and it's one of those things where it's supposed to be pretty safe. So as you can see, the tomatoes are growing pretty good. The actual tomato fruits have been coming in pretty good too. And there's been plenty of additional flowers forming, which I'm hoping wind up giving even more tomatoes. And the kind of neat thing that I've been observing is that, like, I read online that if you tap on them and stuff, that you can help mix the pollen together to help ensure that the flower actually germinates and stuff like that. But it seems like at a certain point the flowers actually become fairly rigid, so it's almost like as soon as they germinate, that stem kind of stiffens up a good bit to support the little tomatoes, soon to be big tomatoes. We seem like we're doing pretty good. It's still been kind of hot, and these leaves are still kind of rolled up. There's a couple damaged spots on some of the leaves, but what kind of has me a little bit worried is this one over here, and kind of how it's got these yellow spots inside of it. And it's on some of these other leaves too, so it might not be anything to be concerned about. Or it might be something where I need to start clipping some limbs. But that's also why we're going to try using the fungicide, just to see if it helps a little bit. And the other thing is that you start using this about 2 weeks before a blight normally comes in. I don't know when the blight normally comes in, so I figure now's about as good time as any. And then you apply it about every 7 to 10 days afterwards. So this will probably be something where I'll apply fertilizer every other week, and then every week I'll add the fungicide and just spray the plant down real quick. On the application directions, you spray all the plant surfaces, so the top and bottom of the leaves, thoroughly. And then, like, to prevent fruit rots, you also spray the product thoroughly onto the flowers and the fruit. And then you reapply if there's like heavy rain. So I guess real quick we'll get a spray pattern. Alright, easy enough. Now I don't know if you're supposed to be like somewhat saturating it, or it's just, hey, you put a little spray on it. So I'm not saturating it, I'm just giving it a little mist all over. And then the tough to hit angles. Then real quick we'll hit the cutoff pieces. And this is day 12 on these guys. So they've recovered significantly from the first few days. Alright, and then height wise, looks like the highest one, whoopsies, is about 35 inches tall, but I would say the main stem area is down about the 32-inch range. And that biggest tomato is easily a good golf ball size now, while it's got plenty of other smaller ones hanging around. So it definitely seems like as the tomatoes grow, I think it kind of slows down the rapid growth of everything else. This one looks to be about 37 inches tall, and judging from the end of the stem and stuff, it's almost like the main stem split into three, so it's kind of hard to tell which one's going to wind up being the main stem, but I would say this one's officially up to 37 inches tall by the main stem pieces. And the weird kind of stuff that's going on with this, I don't know what that is. So I'll have to try and research if that's anything bad that's happening with that strange curling, because it's almost like, I don't want to say that it's like exploding, or maybe it's just the leaves growing out of it, but it definitely seems like something's not quite right there. So it almost looks like the stem's splitting. So kind of strange. Here's a couple more interesting views of the tomatoes as they're growing. But it looks almost like the end of the blossom kind of falls off, which is what I think that little brown piece is over there. And you can see it's still kind of hanging on that one there. Then this little flower here, I think didn't make it. So not all the flowers are bearing fruit, but quite a good bit of them are. And you can even see the little teeny tiny one back there is growing too. I'm kind of eager to see what these wind up looking like, especially if the beefsteak ones are as big as I think they'll get. If they're going to be okay growing in this close of a cluster. And then you can kind of see just a little tip of the blossom on that one. Looks like this one's blossom piece is about to fall off too. That flower might not become a fruit. So I wound up removing that bottom leaf, just as like a better safe than sorry kind of thing. And in looking at it, it's got a little bit of like a wilt on the edge of the leaf. It's got some yellowing on the inside. It's got some mobility from the wind. But I don't actually know if there was anything wrong with it. And then if I flip it over, you can see it's just a lighter color. It's got a couple spots on the leaves where it looks like it's having trouble. And it might have just been something where maybe this being at the bottom, it's getting less sunlight. And with less sunlight, the plant's just choosing to remove that particular leaf. But I don't know, these are just observations. That's the reason why we're trying to use the copper fungicide. And the other thing that has always worried me a little bit is the black walnut tree over there. Because the black walnut tree has chemicals that it releases that's in every part of the black walnut that a lot of people recommend not growing tomatoes underneath them. So I grew it as far away as possible, but that doesn't mean that I grew it far enough away. Hope you guys enjoyed this update video. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'll check you guys next time.